Today, we're going to follow a student's path to get a real inside look at one of the world's most talked about and, honestly, often misunderstood education systems, China's K-12 curriculum.
So when you think of school in China, what's the very first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's this picture of just intense pressure and this single life-altering exam. But is that the whole story? I mean, is Chinese education really just one big test? Let's peel back the layers and find out.
All right, to really get a handle on this system, we're going to follow the journey of a typical student through its three main stages. You've got primary school, then junior secondary, and it all leads up to senior secondary. This structure, well, it's the key to understanding pretty much everything.
Our journey kicks off where every student does, at about age 6, stepping into the first grade. These first 6 years are what they call the foundation years, and believe me, they're absolutely critical.
Now, of course, building core literacy and numeracy skills is a huge deal, but the focus here isn't just on academics. The curriculum also puts a big emphasis on building good civic habits and making sure every kid has a balanced development. So right from the get-go, the goal is to shape a well-rounded person.
So after 9 years of school, our student hits this really pivotal moment. This is their very first run-in with a high-stakes exam, a true crossroads that's going to have a massive impact on their future. It's called the Zhongkao. You take it at the end of the 9th grade, and this exam is a huge deal. It pretty much acts as this powerful sorting mechanism, deciding not just which high school you can get into, but what entire educational track you're going to follow. And this is where students face two very different paths. A high score on the Zhongkao, that can get you into an academic high school where the next 3 years are all about prepping for university. A different score might send you to a vocational or technical school, which is designed to get you ready for a skilled job right after you graduate. See, this one exam really is the fork in the road. For those students who do land on that academic track, the next 3 years become this incredibly intense run-up to what a lot of people call the final gauntlet. And that gauntlet is the Gaokao. Yep, this is the test you've probably heard of. China's national college entrance exam. For millions and millions of students every single year, one score on this one exam decides their access to higher education. It can literally shape their entire career path. You just can't overstate how significant this thing is. It's widely called one of the most influential exams in the world. And the pressure on the students, on their families, on their whole communities in the lead-up, it's just immense. Okay, so with all this talk about these crazy high-stakes tests, you'd probably think the curriculum is nothing but nonstop test prep, right? But this is where the picture starts to get way more interesting. The national curriculum is actually designed to be much broader, much more balanced than most people realize. I mean, the academic core is, as you'd imagine, incredibly tough. You've got deep dives into Chinese language and literature, a huge emphasis on math and logic, English, a whole bunch of sciences, plus history, social studies, and even IT. But here's the part that catches a lot of people by surprise. The curriculum also requires subjects that are all about building a well-rounded citizen. You have moral education, or DU. Physical education is required all the way from grade 1 to 12. So are music and art. And get this, there's also Liber education, which teaches practical life skills like cooking, cleaning, and basic repairs. So here's what's really important to grasp. This system, while it's super rooted in tradition, is not just stuck in the past. It's actually a dynamic system that's constantly moving, a place where these ancient cultural values are meeting modern, forward-thinking ideas. A perfect example of this is the recent double reduction policy. The government looked around and saw a major problem. Students were just buried under way too much homework, and families were facing these huge financial costs from private tutoring. So the solution was a seismic shift, a huge reform that put strict limits on both. The whole point was to ease the pressure and create a healthier learning environment for kids. And the reforms don't even stop there. There's a major national push to develop what they call core competencies, 21st century skills like creativity, communication, and critical thinking. Technology like AI learning tools and digital textbooks is being rolled out in classrooms across the country. And there's this growing focus on global citizenship, prepping students for a world that's more connected than ever. At the end of the day, whether you're looking at the ancient traditions or these brand new reforms, the curriculum is really a mirror. It reflects these super deep-rooted cultural values. Things like respect for teachers, a big emphasis on perseverance and just plain hard work, and a strong sense of collective responsibility. These ideas are the bedrock of the whole system.
So let's circle back to that first question. Is Chinese education just one big test? Well, the real answer is so much more complex and frankly way more fascinating. It's a system that's in this constant balancing act between intense academic pressure and holistic growth, between ancient tradition and rapid innovation. Which really just leaves us with one final thought. As China keeps evolving and redefining what success in education even looks like, what can its classrooms teach the rest of the world?